What's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. We've got a reading today on New Chapter. So, I'm not necessarily sure about the vibration of this reading. All I know is I'm in a bloody good mood. I woke up definitely on the right side of the bed. So, yeah, I hope that energy is flowing through onto you. My pole ones, twos, and threes. I don't think there's much of an introduction needed. Hopefully, just kind of some synchronicities in this reading for you, to let you know kind of what new chapter awaits for you, if any. As always, pile number ones, twos, and threes. Feel free to pause the video and I'll get started with pile number ones. Okay, pile number ones. Your new chapter. Sorry if you're hearing the tapping sound. That's because it's raining outside. So I'm not sure how much the audio is picking up on it, but that's what that sound is, if you're hearing that. What do you see? What do you feel? Pile number ones. It's funny when I'm drawing people because I know 99% of you don't look like the people that I draw. But it's funny, like, when I do get new subscribers and new followers, it's insane how some of you like resemble some of these characters. It's crazy because I've drawn the character. In some cases, I've drawn you before you arrive at this YouTube channel. So if you're ever in doubt that we're in some kind of portal where no time and where the whole kind of science on does time actually exist and stuff like that, sometimes when I'm doing these I'm like like I have a conversation with someone who's new to the channel and they're talking and I'm like, damn, that's their reading is the reading I did literally like 2 years ago. you know, that name came up like 2 years ago. That's for them. That's how these readings work for me, by the way. Now, I kind of had a feeling they were going to be timeless. That's why I put that in the titles all the time. But in the way that they're timeless, it always leaves me speechless. So, yeah, pile number ones, that might mean something to you or it might not. Uh, that might even be part of the chapter that you're coming into, is a realization of this experience um, being one where time maybe literally doesn't exist. Maybe you're coming into understanding that a little bit better. I think it's quite hard or difficult for our brain to even fathom that time doesn't exist. But um, you know, you might be going down that rabbit hole. I kind of had a theory. It actually came to me like accidentally. I can't. Maybe I will show you part number ones. Wait there. So I was like out for dinner. This was like many years ago now, and I had basically it was a quite a nice restaurant. It wasn't too fancy, but they gave us napkins, and those napkins had little napkin rings, and I found myself just playing around with it because I keep my hands fidgety sometimes. And I had the ring, and this is obviously some tape, some kind of dirty tape actually, but I had some tape, and I started to spin it, and I spun it really fast. Probably not doing it justice on the camera because I'm trying to show you, but you get the gist. I done it really fast, and in doing so, it was creating a ball. And I was thinking, oh man, this is. I just got the download of this is what Earth is like. That it's probably spinning really fast, but because time is slow, we don't realize that it's moving really fast. Does that mean? Anyways, this is the theory I had, right? And for me, that kind of explained kind of gravity quite well too. Because now I'm not saying the hole in the middle of the Earth is this um, wide, but what I am saying is that when you do that, you kind of feel somewhat of an energy that's drawn into the middle because it's like a fan, right? It creates a momentum and there's some form of core energy in there. And that core energy makes sense for creating gravity. We know that the world does spin, but we're just in a mindset of that it spins so slowly that it can't be creating gravity. But that's only because we're reading time slower than it is. I might have lost some of you with that, or some of you might just be having a mind blowing moment. And the person who I was taking out for dinner kind of had a little bit of a mind blowing moment. But I'm sure they let it go over their head after they kind of contemplated the theory. So yeah, that was the theory I had. But to be honest, I still kind of hold that. I think that's what's going on. I think that the Earth is spinning very quickly, and you might ask questions like, why aren't we just spinning off it? But like I said, when you spin something so fast, it actually draws energy inwards. And then when you're actually on that thing in its great mass, you might ask, so why don't we just spin off? So you've got the energy of the gravity bringing it in, but then we're also part of that thing. That's why we don't just fling off. You know, it's a really bad example, but think about like, if you was to get a dog and then put it on a spinning wheel and spin it around really fast. Yeah, maybe the water would disappear, come off the dog first, and then the particles of dirt, but then the hairs would maybe stay on because they're part of that thing. We're part of the earth. And then I guess you could argue why doesn't the why isn't the water and the earth spinning off of this earthly globe? I think it probably is, but again, we're moving so slowly. Part ones, I'm gonna stop now because this is going way too deep. And I haven't given this enough. I haven't got enough evidence on this. Some of you some of you just like, no, this is too much. But you know, like, think of it more like when there's an earthquake and there's a swimming pool. Like the swimming pool, kind of just moves to like with the earthquake, right? It doesn't just splash out. That's the kind of energy that I'm trying to say that this earth is. You know, it's spinning in this way, but like the water is more like it's on an earthquake opposed to, you know, it just spinning off like something going at 1 billion miles an hour and just nothing is attached to it. I'm saying it's spinning really, really fast, but not so much that everything spins off it. And then adding onto it, we are actually like living in a slowed down version of that. We're in a slower time, like a time warp. Anyways, poll number ones. I hope you had fun with my wacky explanation of the science of Earth. Your actual reading, your next chapter, is maybe to do with understanding things better in your own mind. If there's anything that you could maybe take away from this poll number ones, it's not that I'm expecting everyone to go, hey, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I'm not here for that. But what you can take away is, at least this guy has got a different idea of how things work. That's hopefully what I hope you take away. Poll number one's like, damn, at least he's thinking for himself, you know. What he might have said sounds like absolute nonsense, but at least he's got his own bloody theory on something. I got to give him a salute for that, you know. That's hopefully what you took away from that theory I just gave you. Or, you know, you might somewhat think, there's something to that. Either way, I'm not really bothered. I hope you just take away the fact that use your own brain sometimes, use your own intuition, because in many ways I think that's what like science is you tap into an idea and then you find a way of explaining it very well. So if I had many graphs and illustrations and drawings to maybe back these ideas up, much math, where I unravel this idea, still may not make sense, but it probably is going to be a little bit more believable. There's maybe a new chapter that you're going into, poll number ones, where you may need to do the same thing. And sorry to ravel off for so far off the topic. I don't think I've ever done that raveled off so far from the core topic ever in a reading, but I feel like that was for you, poll ones. your new chapter is to do with healing. This person is clearly healing this plant, in my opinion. You could maybe argue that she or he, whatever your gender, is speaking with the plant, but I do very much get an energy more of healing it. So just having in the back of your mind, pole number ones, with the kind of whole theories of this world and understanding things better in your head. Also remember to heal, I'd say, yourself. Just like as this person's healing the plant, heal yourself, and then possibly heal the world. You know, I think that's a Michael Jackson saying, but we'll rock with that today. Pole number ones, if you're still here and you haven't completely zoned out, congratulations. You've reached the end of your reading. So, as always, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, pole. Where are we? Pole number 2s, I think. Sorry, pole number 2s, if you're hearing little taps. It's raining outside, basically. I just realised how low I've drawn this. Way too low. Maybe something about that pole number 2s. It might be a bit too low to do something. Okay, I'm not gonna milk this because it's kind of clear what's going on here. Actually, maybe it isn't that difficult. I don't even mean difficult, actually. I mean more like time consuming. Okay, we are in camera. Sorry about the positioning of the image today. It's completely off center. You know, it's almost like there was more, you know, I guess to give it more sense, we can just put the sun up here. Because there's just this empty space up here. It kind of brings it together a bit more. And I guess it brings a bit more happiness into the reading as well. Funnily enough, this person's head is down, so there's a lot here to do. So that's he's looking down, he's almost bald with his ears and his nose. So there's a lot to do here with positioning, low and head down. Do you understand? It's almost like there's something going on here where you possibly part number 2s, you might even resonate with the energy like you've had to almost keep your head down for a while. You've been maybe in the shadows, in the trenches of some of you. Like there's an energy here which is almost unrelated. It's like unrelated to the image, but the vibration of it is very much like, so even the brick by brick, it's like you've been chipping away. It's like Michelangelo working on a sculpture. it wasn't built overnight. It's taken some chipping away, and it's almost like you've been working on the foundations of this thing. Or even the basement of this thing. And in doing so, people couldn't even see what you was doing down there. And now you're rising like the sun. Now you're showing your face. And people can just basically see that you're basically just focused on this thing. And you've been focusing on it. It's just people couldn't see what you were doing. Funnily enough, this would actually fit in a little bit with If You Pause. But there's people in my life or in my previous community who I never will ever show this stuff to, because that's between them and God. That's for God to show it to them. It ain't for me to show it to them. I know with this kind of stuff that people just aren't ready. I've learned that lesson myself. So, pile number 2 is you might relate to that kind of energy. You might be doing something, for me it's this YouTube channel and this brand, but for you it might even be, something maybe even that society doesn't accept. Hopefully not like criminal activities, but I was gonna tell some stories there, but it's a bad idea. But like sometimes when people fall into doing what they have to do, that has to be hidden to an extent too, I'm not trying to put a negative energy out there, but that just came to mind. Some of you might have had to do some things which weren't perfectly seen as great by society, but you had to do it. Could also be something which maybe, embarrasses you, or you might be embarrassed to show it to people. I remember with If You Pause, when I very first started this, I've got the personality where I'm not necessarily embarrassed to show people. It was more that I just knew they wouldn't get it, or I thought they wouldn't get it. And you could argue that I even manifested that, but if someone watches my readings and it's not the embarrassment of me showing myself, it's more that I'm speaking Japanese to them and they're speaking French, and they think Japanese is not a language because all they know is French. And as much as you try and say to them, no, Japanese is actually a language. Here, look, I'll try and teach you. Sometimes people are just in a mindset of no, there's only one language, which is French. What you're talking about is not a language. Japanese does not exist. Does that make sense to anyone listening? You might even have been learning a new language, and you're coming out as your new self, and you're speaking fluent Japanese or motherfuckers or something, like an actual language. Like you were Helen who spoke just like English, and then 2 years later you come back to England and you're speaking fucking Thai and I don't know, I'm getting Punjabi. Is that even a language? So yeah, the point here anyway, if we're talking about my little story, If You Pause, and people not necessarily getting it, or your story, whatever it is, I've come to realize anyway that none of that shit matters anyway. Like, I love people, but sometimes you just gotta have it like a fuck it attitude. Like, fuck y'all anyway, you know? Sometimes that is helpful. Like, if you don't get it, fuck y'all. With love, you know? I hope you get it one day, but if you don't, fuck y'all. And I think this is for you, pole number twos, you're understanding the important thing isn't necessarily, you know, that people are going, oh wow, look at pole number two building their, if it's their house or their uh, empire or their legacy or even relationships or skills or talents. It's not so much about the wow validation or acceptance. It's that you're building, you're doing your thing. That's what I came to realize is the important thing, is that you're actually just, you know, so in my case, producing the content for people, and for you, for whatever you're doing, just doing the thing. That's the gift. I think sometimes people get a little bit caught up in um, the Leo energy. I think we can, maybe it's the astrology at the moment, or just the way of the current society's wave. There is a kind of a ongoing trend which is based around, you know, being your true self. Don't let anyone dim your light. And I've said it in many of my other readings. It's like, gotta be careful with that one. Pole number twos, if this is you, if you've just been building on your foundation in the shadows, like, good for you. That's the way to do it sometimes. Because when you go and show the world that, oh, I'm going to build this foundation for this, sometimes you get met with people trying to say, oh, that's a big foundation. Are you sure you're going to be able to do that? You're going to have people trying to nick your cement. You're going to have people saying, oh, man, you don't want to mix cement like that, or your concrete like that. You know, you want to put extra water in it. That's the secret. Fuck up your whole foundation. Shit don't set properly. Of course, like, there's benefits of shining your light when the time's ready, but sometimes there's a time to work on your foundations, and I think you've actually surpassed that, pole number twos. Remember, just before I leave you, these readings are never gender specific. I don't care about people's sexual orientation, what gender they class themselves as, what race you class yourself as. I could not give a monkey's. You know, everyone's welcome here. I don't care about anyone's anything. It's just about the message, and it's always with love. So just remember, pole number twos, whenever you're watching these readings, don't get too caught up by the physical of what you see. Now, sometimes there is a clear clue for you that when there is a male in the reading, we're talking more on your masculine energy. So you might be a female watching this and seeing a dude lay bricks. Sometimes we're talking about your masculine energy. This is what your masculine drive is doing at the moment. And then to get your feminine energy, you may need to watch a different reading or pick a different pile. Or it might not be here for you today. It might not be what spirit wants you to hear. So that's for you to do the work there. But generally, just remember, it's a free for all over here. So hope you was able to take some beautiful messages away with you today, pile number twos. If you did, as always, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And yeah, keep winning. I'm rooting for you. Keep going, brick by brick. Okay, poll number 3 is have a little coffee break. Something to do with kind of a momentum here. Some form of like momentum. It's going to be an absolute disaster. Oh man, I don't know how to draw a bike, especially not in this style. Pray for me. That'll do actually, that ain't bad. Put some mud guard on there. God was with us. This guy, funky hat. Back to. Where you off to? Par threes. Where you off to? Kind of quirky energy here. This could be male or female. Like I said to poll number 2's, it's a free-for-all over here. I couldn't care less about people's genders, sexual orientation, race. That's always the dumbest, isn't it? Have you ever heard like a black person be racist? No. If you ever need proof that someone is retarded, sorry, not retarded, stupid, watch them do the same actions as the people that suppress them. If you ever need confirmation that someone's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So that goes for everything. So let's say if you're a woman watching this and your partner is abusive to you, say he hits you, and then you go and hit a man, you a dumbass, basically. If someone's racist to you, and then you go and be racist back to them, you a dumbass. It doesn't mean that you don't react to things, by the way. This is not what I'm saying. This might be part of your lesson, part 3. So if someone's racist to you, and they're I don't know, trying to attack you, you might need to knock that motherfucker out. or you might need to defend yourself, put it that way. I'm not saying that we got to literally put ourselves on the cross in the sake of someone trying to oppress us. I'm not saying that, but when you're doing the exact same bullshit that the person, like when the pain that has been inflicted on you, you try and inflict on them and others, I think that's not only spiritual immaturity, that's low intelligence, I think. Poll number threes, you might resonate with that. But more importantly, I feel like you're on the move somewhere. This little bicycle's got a little headlamp on it. So you might be moving out of darkness. Do you know, this gives me a little bit of the energy of like I feel like you're almost like the messenger here. I feel like whatever's in that bag is important. You know, sometimes in the movies when someone has to, it's almost a little bit like Frodo getting the ring to, you know, I can't remember where that place is called. You know, he's got to get it to like the lava and melt it. It's like that, only it's not that story, because that story was very well done, Lord of the Rings, in the fact that not only did he have to get it to the enemy's camp, which was near enough impossible, the damn ring had these temptations too. So as well as the orcs, as well as everyone trying to kill him, the ring's basically trying to kill him too. So poll number 3 is, I don't feel like it's that deep. It's almost like it reminds me of, in your bag you might have like medication for someone that's got to heal them, or it might be a present but you've only got a day to get it to them, so you're having to ride there. Do you understand? It's kind of got that vibe to it. It's like you've got almost like a package for someone, a gift for someone. You know, sometimes the celebration in life is giving someone else the gift. I think as we get older, we realise that more so. I think, especially I can talk for myself, but when I was younger, it was all about what I can get, how I could build, what I could achieve. And then as I got older, it was more about how I could help others achieve, how I could be there for other people, how I could use like my resources and what I'd built to help others. So there might be that kind of energy in you, poll number 3s. And it's got a funness to it too. I almost want to leave you with saying, just remember that, you know, for now at least, you might be out of that darkness. So you can turn your headlamp off. You know, sometimes when people are driving around in their cars and they've got the headlights on by accident, that might be like you, poll number 3, is you've got your headlights on from having to travel in the dark for so long, but you don't need to put it on anymore. You're in the day. So poll number 3 is, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you got something from it. If you did, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next reading. Take care.